What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 217 of the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton LaPlatte. Joining me, as always, we have the Mecha Stardew Valley, Chris Montalbano.
Play Master Duel. It's a really good time.
Did that Mech Stardew Valley game ever come out? We got the most degenerate squid in the sea, Jalen Roberts.
Digital Devil Saga. Play it.
Okay, Lightyear Frontier.
Looks like Stardew with mechs.
Doesn't look like it's out. We've been calling you the Mecha Stardew Valley since this game got announced, and I was just wondering if this game was out. And we got the Ray Trace 2 Rag Madrid Devon.
Elemental Hero Sunrise.
We got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about PSVR 2, Game Pass, Final Fantasy, Like a Dragon, Octopath, and PlayStation Plus. So, Chris, you weren't here last week. The Nintendo Direct. Was there anything that stood out to you? Anything that was like a hell yeah moment? Anything you're looking forward to? Like, just trying to get your 2 cents on the Nintendo Direct from last week.
It was okay to me. I'm trying to remember what was in the last Direct. Obviously, Tears of the Kingdom looked amazing. Everything they showed has me intrigued in what's going to go happen. What's about to go down. What was the Metroid Prime 2 remake? Looks really good.
Prime.
Metroid Prime.
First one. Because if it was Echoes, shit. Shit.
The more time goes on, the more like Metroid Prime remaster and Dead Space remake. I kind of want to play both of those.
Yeah, I haven't bought Dead Space remake yet, but I really want to play it. I've been seeing like little snippets of people playing it, and just like even the reloading and all that shit.
I don't know.
Heck,
that game just looks good.
I
watched Beer Hunt's review on it. She's like, yeah, if you like Dead Space 1, you're going to like this because it's Dead Space 1, but shiny.
But I mean, I never played Dead Space 1. Well, I mean, I played Dead Space 1, but I didn't like own or play through Dead Space 1. And I played Metroid Prime, but I never owned or played through Metroid Prime. So both of these are like games that I know are good and now have like a more definitive modern way to play them. And so I'm weighing both of them of like, all right, I want to check at least one of these out, but I also don't want to play on the stinky Switch. Like, Metroid's more intriguing to me, but it's like, but Switch.
But you have to play on the Switch.
So, but yeah, like the other night, I've been trying, we've been having a bunch of demos, games are coming out like crazy. I went on Metacritic and I was like, what are the highest rated games just of this year? Because we're in mid-February and like shit has just been dropping. So I was like, best games this year by Metascore.
Oh, what do you got?
So we got Metroid Prime Remaster, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the Xbox version. I guess, did they all come out in January?
I think so.
It says Xbox Series X, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. I know I'm not going to play that. Then Persona 4 Golden on Switch. Yep. Then Persona 4 Golden Xbox Series X. Hogwarts Legacy Xbox Series X. Dead Space Xbox Series X. Hi-Fi Rush PC. Dead Space PS5. Hi-Fi Rush Series X. And then A Space for the Unbound. And then Theatrythm on PS4. And then some other notable ones. 13 is Monster Hunter Rise. 15 is Persona 3 Portable on Series X. Returnal on PC is 17. But my PC can't run Returnal. No. I mean, it could probably run on my Steam Deck. It's just I don't know what Returnal would be like with insane loading. Because
yeah, that's fair.
It'd be running off an SD card, which is a lot slower than the SSD in my PS5. So And then, so getting down to 20 is Octopath Traveler 2 on PS5. Because I didn't realize reviews had dropped for that. At 27 is Like a Dragon Ishin on PS5. And then 30 is Fire Emblem Engage. 35 Wild Hearts. It's just looking at this list of games that have come out this year, and like the fact that all of those that I just listed have a Metascore of over 80.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's a lot of games to play, so I'm trying to decide what my next game is, because I got Theatrythm, and I've already put like 6 hours into Theatrythm over the past 2 days, and I'm enjoying that, and I have like the season pass. Like, I'm trying to beat the campaign, but Jesus Christ, 14 has a lot of songs.
Yeah.
Normally, like a game, like I'll play till I get a key to unlock another series. So they have Final Fantasy 1 through 15, and then they have like Crystal Chronicles, and they have like the series of Final Fantasy 7. They have Final Fantasy 7 Remake. They have Dissidia. They have like really cool representation of like all the obscure random Final Fantasy stuff. If there has been like key art of anything in the Final Fantasy series ever, it'll be in there. Like, I didn't know Mobius Final Fantasy, the like iOS, I don't even know if it was a gacha, but there was like a Final Fantasy.
If it's a mobile game, it's probably a gacha.
No, if it's a mobile game, it's definitely a gacha.
I just feel like, yeah, it probably was a gacha, but I didn't know Mobius Final Fantasy got shut down. So like, I'm playing the game and I'm like, oh, this music is cool. I might download this game. Go to the App Store. It's not there. I'm like, did this game get shut down? Look it up on YouTube. I find a Night Sky Prince video from 3 years ago talking about Mobius Final Fantasy's getting shut down. I'm like, damn. But the fact that they have music and the character and all that stuff from a defunct mobile game in there to represent, like, that's how deep of a Final Fantasy rabbit hole Theatrythm is. Like,
it better be. I'm going to say it right now. It better be. Because every Final Fantasy, because there's no such thing as a Final Fantasy game with a bad soundtrack.
Right.
Like,
it doesn't exist.
That's true.
Like, even the minor shit that normally would get passed over, no one gives a fuck, even those have great soundtracks. Yep. So it's like, it better.
Yeah. But just the game, it opens with a splash screen. This is my first time seeing a splash screen in a game. So I play Square Enix games, and normally they open with Square Enix. Like Final Fantasy 14, any of these games, they open with the Square Enix logo and then go to whatever, and then you're in the game. This one opens with Final Fantasy 35th Anniversary with the Amano art. I'm like, oh. And then it goes to the Square Enix and then goes into the game. I'm like, seeing that just gets me, and playing this gets me really hyped for 16. Because I know we're getting Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and I'm super stoked for that. But I think I'm at the point that I'm hyped for 16, but I'm also scared watching Square Enix. Like, I'm afraid it'll get delayed because that's what Square Enix does. I mean, that's what everybody does, but
Their game is too close. We haven't heard about a delay yet, and they gave us a specific date. So I think we're good. We're locked in.
I'm trepidation.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. It's my most anticipated game. I'm ready. Whenever. That's what I might do. I might just pre-order 16 as my current game purchase. I'm like, I'm trying to buy a game that I could play in the near future, or I could buy a game that I definitely want to play and just know that I don't have to think or worry about it ever again.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to get Octopath Traveler too.
Yeah.
I'm getting that this weekend.
That's what I'm thinking.
For sure.
My list was like a Dragon Ishin, because I liked Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I know that this was like one that came out in Japan early PS4 era, and it was just kind of one of those side games that was really cool at that time, and so people like Yakuza fans have been waiting for it to come west, but they dropped a demo. I played that demo and I was like, no. It had like 2 levels to like show off the combat, but I was like, ooh, this is not good combat. And I was like, You
weren't feeling it?
Not at all. I was like, yo, you can tell this is an early PS4 game. Yeah, I mean, I say that's the cool thing about these demos is like it's giving me, instead of sight unseen, like a Dragon Ishin in trailers and everything, looks awesome. Like a Dragon Ishin hands on a controller is a hard pass. So that's why all these demos have been a really good thing of like letting me try these games. Like Octopath, I'm still kind of like maybe on Octopath because I just can't get myself to play it for long stretches of time. And so the demo gave me 3 hours, and I've done 3 play sessions and haven't even hit an hour. Because it's just not holding on to me. I see a save point. I'm like, all right, I can go do something else. Let me.
Damn.
See, I saw a save point. I was like, all right, save. Let me just go a little further. Mm-hmm. And did you end up finishing the demo? Because I made it to the point where I went and got another person.
No, I haven't. That's what I'm looking forward to. But I'm kind of like, I'm still in.
Because you're doing Hikari's story,
yeah.
Like
Hikari.
His shit hits. Like once you start to get to the plot.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, between Monster Hunter and Theatrythm, like being kind of both really arcadey, really just like there's not a story going on. I'm just playing these games and enjoying playing these games for like what they are. Octopath seems like I have to go and get invested in a world and a set of characters. Like the art style's there, the music's there, like but it's like I feel like going and getting invested in that world and in those characters when I have Monster Hunter where I'm invested in the monsters already, or Theatrythm where my party is Zack, Yuffie, Aerith, and Noctis. My party is just legit awesome. And we're riding around in the regalia. So
yeah, that's dope.
That's something you have to think about with an RPG though. Like you're gonna have to get invested. So if that's not something you feel like you want to do, then I guess I would stay away from RPGs. Because I was even gonna say Persona would be a good pickup for you. I
mean, yeah, I have Persona 3 and 4 installed. It's just I kind of want something new. Like, it's so much new stuff, and Persona 3 is literally a PSP game, and Persona 4 is a game I've played on multiple platforms at this point. And
wait, say that again?
Yeah.
What, Persona 3? Persona 3 Portable was originally the version that I can play.
Okay, that's why I got confused. I was like, what?
No, the version of Persona 3 that I can play was originally a PSP game.
Yeah.
And I don't recommend that. I really don't recommend it, playing Portable.
And
it's not terrible.
As your first experience, I don't recommend it.
Yeah. I see that. Like I played like a good solid 2 hours, and I feel like I'm missing out on it.
Yeah,
you gotta explore the school. You gotta talk to Akihiko and realize he has a thing for Mitsuru, which he's not wrong.
Right.
You gotta hang out with the homies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm invested in the world of Persona, but I just kind of don't feel like playing a Persona.
Sounds like you should just keep playing Theatrythm.
Yeah.
And Monster Hunter. Really, it sounds like that's just where you are right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay.
If anything, you should just dabble with some of the new games that are on PlayStation, on the PlayStation subscription.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's some shit. They added Scarlet Nexus.
Right, they did. Like, that's
I'm a little salty because I bought the super deluxe version of Scarlet Nexus, but it was cheap, so I don't really care. It's fine.
I'm trying to see if I can get
It's dope,
list of like the new drops for the PlayStation Plus collection, because like this month was actually, it's not the PlayStation Plus collection. Yeah, this month was super solid.
That's why I just said subscription, because there's some shit under each tier to go along with PlayStation Plus, which was pretty straight this month too, if I remember correctly.
Oh, finding that. Okay, so they're adding Horizon Forbidden West, so a game I was thinking about picking up to try out is just available. Scarlet Nexus.
That's on premium though.
Huh?
Okay, yeah, right. It's the premium, because I was surprised how
premium. That's extra. That's just on there. Premium got God of War Ragnarok. It got a God of War Ragnarok trial, but Horizon.
Oh wait, these are trials, not full games.
No, what I am listing are full games that are available on extra.
I thought Horizon was
premium.
just on premium.
No.
Okay, then I'm surprised about how quickly Horizon is ending up on there, because
it's a year.
Yeah, I expected a little bit more time than a year.
I mean, no, a year seems like the standard. Like, okay, after a year of a game being out, it's free game. Like Horizon Forbidden West, I could see coming to PC this year. It's been a year. They've gotten their sales. They sold their bundles. Everything.
Well, did Forbidden West sell?
Oh shit! Maybe
remember, it came out like a couple of days before Elden Ring.
Yeah, I mean, it sold appreciably because for a while to get a PS5, you also had to buy the game because they were only selling bundles, and they put like their entire marketing budget into Horizon Forbidden West before God of War. So,
okay, so apparently it's 20 million.
Right, that is solid.
No. That is not Forbidden West. That is not Forbidden West.
Oh.
I take that back. That is not Forbidden West. This article is poorly written, but that is not Forbidden West.
Okay, so just to list off the games that are coming to extra and premium full games: Horizon Forbidden West, Scarlet Nexus, The Quarry featuring Brenda Song, which might want to check out. Seems like a good time. Outriders, Borderlands 3, Oninoirx, Lost Sphere, I Am Setsuna, and The Forgotten City. And those are some of those are PS4 games, but
those all range from decent enough to bangers.
Right.
Like I Am Setsuna was definitely sitting in that in between of good enough.
Oninoirx, it's decent enough. And I was like, if this is ever free or very, very cheap, I'll copy it.
All right.
And so now I just get to play it.
And they also added Resident Evil 7, Tekken 7, Ace Combat 7, and Earth Defense Force 5. Those all got added to extra as well. And so now premium only is getting Legend of Dragoon, Wild Arms 2, Harvest Moon Back to Nature from PS1, and Destroy All Humans from PS4.
When is Back to Nature coming back on there?
The 17th? It happened yesterday.
Oh, it happened yesterday.
Oh, no, the 21st. The 21st, sorry.
Damn, I was about to say, downloading.
That's Tuesday.
Yeah, so Tuesday. All these games are coming to PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium. So, and the interesting thing is they've been going back and adding trophy support to more of the games on the premium tier. So, Chris, you might be able to get some PS1 trophies on your PS5 in Harvest Moon.
Ooh, that'd be lit.
I don't think they've talked about whether or not it's getting trophies, but I know Wild Arms 1 has it. So, since they're adding Wild Arms 2, they might be doing it. And Legend of Dragoon, the game that apparently people are like it's better than Final Fantasy VII. People love it.
It's a tall order. Legend of Dragoon is good. I'm not. That's tough. I'm not sure I could say that it's better than 7, but Legend of Dragoon is really good. It's in that list of like, unfortunately, underrated PlayStation RPGs in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, that was good. Vagrant Story was good. One of the many good PlayStation JRPGs that are just abandoned on the early consoles.
Okay, so...
And that's why I get annoyed when I see remakes of games that are not that old. Because it's like, bruh, you have so many better options from the entirety of history.
Yeah, but...
And you want to do something...
The Last of Us remake shows that if you are doing it with a good enough, like, PlayStation had two options. They could have remade Legend of Dragoon. Yeah, whatever. It's probably not a PlayStation game. Like, it's not a Sony game, whatever. Let's just say PlayStation decided we're going to remake a game. We could remake The Last of Us because we got this show coming out and whatever.
Owned by Sony Interactive.
Okay,
right.
So, we could have gone back and remastered Legend of Dragoon. Have you seen...
I mean, they're going to pick the money option.
Right. The Last of Us Part... Like, I'm thinking about getting The Last of Us Part 1.
Is Fear on here?
But this is something I would like to
Fear might be streaming, Chris, if you're looking through.
It is. How bad is the streaming? I am looking.
The streaming is decent. I played Everyday Shooter on streaming on premium.
Chris, you have premium?
I got it on a discount last year, and then it just hit my account, and I was like, well, fuck, I got it for a year again.
Yeah, shit.
Oh, see, I did mine on Black Friday. It was cheaper for me to get the year of premium than a year, because I was going to downgrade to extra because I wasn't really using the premium stuff. But also, premium is a key for all these JRPGs that I'm like semi-interested in. It's saving me the money of buying them because it's like, here, you can play it for 2 hours. And I'll play it for 2 hours and be like, I had a fun 2 hours. And then just I'm like, I played the game. I don't need to buy it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just, I just don't see a lot of the... I forgot that I had premium because I sit on the dashboard and I don't see a lot of like what.
Well, they have the PlayStation. If you like from the home screen, if you just go all the way to the left, they have that PlayStation Plus thing, and that's pretty good about surfacing stuff. That's like.
Oh, that's cool.
It has your monthly games for PlayStation Plus. It has like your extra. It kind of is not really great about differentiating when you have premium what's extra and what's premium, but it's just like, here are all the games you can play. And I mean,
I think I've Game Pass has just made me so lazy that it's just like right there. Like when I log into the Xbox app on PC, it's just like, hey, this is what you got for Game Pass.
It knows what
so I think that's made me lazy and not go out of my way to look and see what I can get with this premium.
Yeah,
because they got a lot of cool shit on here that.
But the thing about
when it first started,
the thing about the stuff on PlayStation Plus is that it's always been a little obfuscated. Like, it's not as quick and direct.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean,
Xbox, you just go on. There's a thing already there. I want to say later on, I saw they added that to the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where you just and they added that wasn't there originally on the PS5, but now it's just there. And the fact that the store. Is built in. It's not an app like it was on the PS4. Like the PS4, you'd have to open the store. Like the store is just built into the UI in general.
Yeah.
Now, so
which is dope.
It's like a system level thing. So.
Yeah, so it's a cool integration. Yeah, it makes searching easy.
It's not as good as it can be, but it's also not bad. I won't go as far as to say that. Like,
no, I don't think it's bad. It looks pretty clean.
Yeah, I think the next few kind of big like updates, they'll start to clean it up more.
Yeah, because we're running the beta, and even on the beta, they've like done some improvements over like even the firmware you're running, Chris. Like side by side, there are noticeable differences on our PlayStations at this current moment. So we know for a fact that. Like,
it gets better.
They're iterating. And I mean, they've been iterating for the last 2 years. I feel like we still don't have stuff like quick resume or whatever, but I still...
We have the switcher. It's so situational that it's not even worth it. The switcher?
Oh, the switcher is
switch
just
between games?
It's just a little icon that shows you the last few games and apps you've opened, and it doesn't like it actually. There's no warning when you just close a game, which is why autosave. Like I can't. I'm saving as often as possible, and I am auto-saving, and I'm doing everything because there's no warning. You'll hit the switcher, and you'll be like, oh, Monster Hunter, and be like, oh shit, I had just paused the song in Theatrythm. I am fucked. There's no warning, no nothing. It's just like, so the switcher
honestly, I don't use
switches your games.
It's like a whole extra step to just do what I was going to do anyway, and knowing that I want to do it, you know, like it is. I guess it's more decent for switching between a game and an app, or an app and an app. But a game and a game,
like
not right now.
Between Hulu and Netflix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because those shits will stay running. Yeah, honestly, for me, it's Crunchyroll and Apple Music are the ones that
Oh yeah, I need to add my Spotify.
Yup. Oh, let me send y'all some more playlists I made.
Ooh, dancer.
Bangers.
So
playlist.
Yeah, Chris, I'd say just use that PlayStation Plus tab that they have on the far left of your home screen. Just use that more often, and
I check it out because I saw. I mean,
like
even though I saw Code Veronica was on there. Even though that's streaming, I'm like, ooh, I really wouldn't want him to play Code Veronica and not spend $70 to buy the game for my PS2.
Yeah, and like Deathloop's on there. Ghostwire Tokyo will be on there probably.
I saw that
later this month. So they have a trial of Ghostwire Tokyo right now. So I'm thinking of starting it and like playing the first 2 hours and then like downloading the game and just like playing some more, because it seems like a serviceable open world game in a like yokai infested Tokyo. So I'm with it.
Yeah, I think Greg, he played all of it, and he was like, it gets a little repetitive, but, like, you just let loose and have fun. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good time. Just don't take it so serious like you take every other PlayStation exclusive serious. I mean, back then it was a PlayStation. It was solely going to be PlayStation, but, like, he was like, stop taking it so serious and just enjoy this game. I was like, okay. Changed my mindset about video games.
Like, wow, I don't have to be so strict.
Video games?
Wow, can you imagine if gamers enjoyed video games?
No.
What is that like?
You can't.
Hey, man, that's been the vibe. So, Jalen, Chris, I got to call y'all out. Neither of y'all have been on Discord this past week.
You didn't have to call us out.
That's okay. Yeah,
you didn't have to do that.
It's like,
no,
okay.
I gotta
am I supposed to?
Last week, y'all were like, we're gonna be on Discord, because the vibe in the PlayStation party lately has just been video games are really good right now, and everybody, because between me playing Theatrythm and Darren playing Theatrythm and Juwan playing Wild Hearts and Darren playing Wild Hearts, like, everybody's just like, there's a bunch of new games out that are really interesting, and everybody's just enjoying video games.
I've been playing Ollie World.
Oh, yeah. Ollie World also is just looming in the background of everybody, which is an awesome thing. That's awesome.
It's really good. It's really good. The music, the fashion.
Good time.
I'm starting to kind of get the mechanisms down, the mechanics.
It's skate controls, so like for anybody who's played Skate.
I don't think I've ever played Skate, but
Skate 3 is on Game Pass. Go play that.
I played Tony Hawk's.
Oh, it might not be on PC Game Pass.
I don't think it's on PC Game Pass. No, it's not. It's on Game Pass, but it's connected to that EA bullshit.
Oh, that shit is so annoying.
Yeah,
it worked fine for me for like a week, and then after that, it didn't.
Yeah, EA anything on PC is
EA anything.
Well, it's fine enough on PlayStation. I don't have there's not an EA launcher on PlayStation. I can just open an EA game and have an EA game open on PlayStation.
That's just the whole EA thing for the fact that EA is trying to use Game Pass to slide you to convince you to get another subscription service, kind of like what Amazon Prime does and Apple TV does.
Yeah, wait, how does the EA Play game work or on PS5? Because I think that is the worst part, that you can be in your Game Pass, have Game Pass, and it comes with the EA Play, but you have to open up the EA
game. It's just you open up the games. You probably have to go through the EA tab in whatever, under Game Pass or whatever, but you just open the game and it opens. It's really only PC, because I loaded up Titanfall 2 on my Steam Deck and opened it to play it, and it was log in with your EA account. I'm like, really?
That's too much.
I'm like, I do not want to be running the EA launcher on my Steam Deck to play Titanfall. I'm just trying to play Titanfall.
Like I said, EA.
On PC.
No,
on PC.
No, in general. Still in general.
Yeah, in general, because Titanfall Legends, R.I.P.
Titanfall Legends, what happened to Mass Effect Andromeda, what happened to fucking Dragon Age, what's looking like it's happening to Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Heck, what happened to Titanfall 2? EA's a shit company. Let me rephrase. The top video game publishers are all shit companies.
Right.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
So, while we're talking about Respawn...
And if their CEOs did not have such inflated fucking paychecks, we could have better games. More games.
So, while we're talking about EA and what they did with Respawn and Titanfall, former devs from Respawn are... So, the headline on GameSpot is former Apex Legends Titanfall devs create new studio Wildlight Entertainment. And so, it looks like... because we've known people from the Apex team have been leaving, in mass. It's like when Overwatch, when the majority of the Overwatch team.
This again?
Huh?
Oh, I was looking at the team list and I recognized Muhammad, Muhammad Alavi. He had to go through that again because this is when they fucking left Infinity Ward.
Yep. And it again is happening with Respawn. It's just Vince Zampella is stuck. Yeah. Vince Zampella is the one who's stuck at EA.
Rip.
But, so this is happening. Muhammad is the guy who was working on the Titanfall Legends. Because he made All Gillied Up and,
I'm talking Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, Titanfall 1, 2.
Right, yeah. His stuff hits, and he was making a single player for Apex Legends that was going to be a Titanfall Apex Legends campaign spiritual successor.
With Hades elements.
Damn, that would be sick.
When I say Hades elements, I really just hope it means talking to bad bitches. I'm just gonna say
talking to the legends. You're supposed to talk to them, and they would give you some of their perks or abilities.
Okay.
You run into an octane coin, and then you're a junkie.
Yeah, basically you pick up. No, it's not a coin; it's a needle, and it immediately puts you on dialysis. But anyway. Fuck EA.
Yeah, well, I mean, they put out Wild Hearts, and according to Juwan and Darren, two of the people who play Monster Hunter the most hardcore, it seems like a serviceable option for them to wait for Sunbreak to come to PlayStation.
I actually played a little bit of Wild Hearts. Just a smidge, though. Not much. Played a little bit, though. Started playing it. I had fun with the character creator, which is the important thing. And I like the arcadiness of it. I like the arcadiness. There's some... it's like it's a serviceable Monster Hunter game. There's a couple of things it does different that I don't fully understand well enough to explain. Outside of like
that's fair.
It, but that's all right. I hear that it falls apart as you get later into the game, but
well, I mean,
I'll leave that post for next week.
Yeah, I just flipped back to the list and I'm realizing how much stuff. So this week Phil Spencer actually said, and while we were talking about all these games being on Game Pass and like you guys using PC, it seems like it cannibalizes game sales, which I mean, I feel like I've known that.
Yeah.
This is something that gets cycled every year. We get one of these a year.
Well, no, that's the thing. Consistently, Phil Spencer has been saying publicly, like, no, Game Pass is good for games. Game Pass. But, I mean, the last time Phil Spencer was talking about stuff like that was 2018. And with inflation and with game prices and with, like, they're probably, the amount of money they're losing is increasing as time goes on.
Oh, absolutely. Also,
they missed their target goal twice.
Yeah. And also, this is something that's also, like, evident across all streaming. Like, that's why I said it's like, we get this every couple of years. Like, this is something that's been happening across streaming. Because here's the thing about it is, at the end of the day, if you put your game on Game Pass, and you were getting money, and you were giving money for, let's say, 100,000 sales, and more than 100,000 people bought it, I mean, more than 100,000 people played it off of Game Pass, yes, you lost money. Technically.
Yeah, technically, but there would have. And I mean, I get the push and pull and like listening to developer interviews, like, because that has been a big thing lately. Like, as smaller, more indie, like, if a one-person indie dev puts a game up on Game Pass and like that one person is doing like their press tour for the game, that's going to be like the interviews that I've heard with the developers of Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks, like they were on the 8-4 Play podcast. And like, that's one of the questions they're getting asked is like, hey, how does putting your game on Game Pass affect like your discoverability, your profitability, your sales, like your like mainstream output? And like, they had the additional layer of it being a shadow drop. Because, like, usually Game Pass, like, you know Atomic Heart's coming to Game Pass, and you know when Atomic Heart is coming to Game Pass. But, like, nobody knew Hi-Fi Rush was coming out. So, like, hearing a lot of these interviews, it's like, yeah, a shit ton of people played Hi-Fi Rush, but if Hi-Fi Rush had just shadow dropped and not been available on Game Pass, would Hi-Fi Rush have made the kind of splash that it made? No.
I think it would have later.
No,
I think it would have later. Because I think later, like, and when I say later, I mean we would start seeing something in like 6 months. Like,
but it wouldn't be on the level that it is now, even outside of, because it came out on Game Pass, yes, and it's available on Game Pass PC, yes, but it is also in the top 10 on Steam, where nobody is getting it for free.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying it's like it would take longer for it to get there because of the fact that like
it would have probably gotten to the same like end number, let's say, but it wouldn't have ever hit the highs that it's hitting. It would not have cracked the top 10 on Steam in 6 months.
Yeah.
If it weren't like, if they had shadow dropped it, and like word of mouth probably would have, because it's Tango, it's Microsoft, it's Bethesda, it's like really big names in the industry. It's not going to just be like this hidden indie darling, whatever, like, but it would not be outdoing Forspoken on Steam if it didn't have the Game Pass element. I don't think it would have.
Quality writing alone would have solved that. Like all it would take is one cutscene. Literally, someone watching the early cutscene of Hi-Fi Rush, realizing the writing's actually decent, and then that solves that.
I don't. Yes, that would get it discovered by people, but it would not have gotten it discovered on the level and with the like fervor that it has behind it.
Kill basically did that. Ultra Kill was sitting at the top of like Steam sales for a while too, and that just showed up one day.
What game?
Insane.
Ultra Kill.
Never heard of it.
Amazing. Like literally.
But you've heard about Hi-Fi Rush. That's the thing.
You can parry your own shotgun bolts in that game.
I mean, I've seen it and it looks cool and it's on my Steam wish list, but at the same time,
you're saying that like Game Pass gives like
so there's a push
an
and
audience, yeah, but it doesn't get the developer the money it deserves for the game.
Sometimes that's the thing. It's always a balancing act.
There's a critical window of people who are going to benefit from Game Pass.
It's because of Game Pass.
Yeah.
Like Outriders. So Outriders came day and date to Game Pass. It was available for sale on other platforms, but people pretty much use PC Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass, and that game did not make its money back enough for People Can Fly to get paid residuals because they published it under Square Enix. Huh?
But I'm also going to say Outriders is not a good game.
No, I've heard it's pretty good.
I played it. I played it for a good while.
Well, it's
I am not having fun with this.
It's coming to PlayStation Plus on the 21st. I'm going to give it a go on PlayStation Plus, and I'm going to see if it's hot garbage because I don't think it's hot garbage.
With the demo or the beta.
After the entire fucking build rework. And then this is after they fucked up the in-game build system. It used to be good where you could have a bunch of different things, but then it basically came your basic RPG. Hey, this is your best in slot because we made new armor, and the only things that have these extra perk slots are the new armor, so everyone's wearing the new armor.
I don't know.
I did not enjoy Outriders. That's really it. It's like we're comparing a game and that's my thing. It's like part of it is the games we're using to compare to Hi-Fi Rush aren't good games.
Okay, well.
And I'm not saying that invalidates the thing. I'm just saying, like, we do need to acknowledge that we're comparing a good game to games that are good.
Okay, give me an example of a good game on Game Pass in your perception, like any good game that came to Game Pass.
Citizen Sleeper, Scorn.
Okay, Scorn would have not as many people that have played Scorn would have played Scorn without Game Pass.
Oh, I believe that. That's the reason why I played it.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I played it.
Like, I'm not going to pretend like that's not how it is.
So, all of these games that you've listed, that for the most part you would have only played because you can't have access to them on Game Pass?
No. Scorn is the only one. Scorn specifically.
What about Citizen Sleeper?
Citizen Sleeper I definitely would have bought. If I couldn't get that on Game Pass, I would have bought that just outright.
Okay, so they lost out on that sale from you. And do you think that Microsoft paid them enough to have their game on Game Pass and let you play it through that versus the lost sales that the Citizen Sleeper developer is losing on Xbox? Because that's the other factor of it.
The calculation so hard is because yes, but also no.
I think with a game like Citizen Sleeper, it benefited from Game Pass.
It definitely benefited from Game Pass
because a lot of other people got to try it, so it was just able to get.
Citizen Sleeper is that it's not a traditional game style. You know, like that's another thing about it. It's like there's a lot of convergence in designs with a lot of modern games. Like, have you noticed that like all the inventory screens and armor screens look like Destiny basically these days?
You know, like Hogwarts.
Yeah.
Hogwarts. I was looking at a video about fucking
Ghost of Tsushima is the one that I like that does it though.
Yeah.
I mean, there are examples that I like that
it melds into its art style though. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it doesn't feel. It does.
Certain games do it well.
I really think it really comes down to the fact that my biggest concern when it comes to gear in games is how is your combat, are you negatively balancing your combat system to make later gear good? Because if your game's a slog and a piece of shit to play early because your numbers are shit, but then it becomes fun because the enemies stop being fucking sponges because your numbers are correct because you got some gear. Then that's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing I worry about because a lot of these games with gear, you just end up with meaningless rewards. Like, I remember, like, we used to play Destiny. We would run strikes for hours and maybe get one upgrade, maybe get one thing that was worth actually looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so, like, every time I see that type of armor in games, especially like RPGs and stuff, I get a bit concerned. I get a bit concerned because I'm just like, is your combat actually good, or are you just gonna make us play through shit until the numbers get good?
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's why I kind of like how JRPGs do armor and shit. Because when they like, you buy armor, or like some enemies might drop something that's rare, but it's not like you're going out grinding trying to get like a drop.
Yeah, like upgrades are actually upgrades.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on the game, like there might not be one specific like OP weapon, but there's some different secret weapons you can unlock that each have their own like perks and or shortcomings. Kind of missed that,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Then also we're kind of like, hopefully we're coming off the every game's a life service bullshit that we were dealing with for the past like.
Oh no,
10
it's about to get real bad for a minute because PlayStation has
people had the shit in the works.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like all the people who are going to be coming late to the party that are like saw the trend happen with Fortnite and with Destiny and with all this stuff that have taken longer than a year.
Since fucking 2008.
I mean,
like
the people who are picking up on the trends of 2020 and are taking about 2 to 3 years to develop and like get their game out, like next year, later this year and next year, there are a lot of games that are question marks that are going to be answered with online live service, and they don't have enough time to course correct through all these closures that just happened and all these live service game shutdowns. Like they're 2-3 years into development. Like they've already like had all the green lights and have been going full speed ahead on making these games. So it's only about to get way worse before.
Heck, that's part of the reason why we haven't heard anything about Dreadwolf in so long, because they had to course correct. And because EA was like, no, this has to be a multiplayer live service game. And now they're like, oh, wait. Jedi Fallen Order actually sold well. If we give
and Anthem, like, so yeah, they're more so responding to Anthem crashing and burning.
No, it's not Anthem. It's not Anthem. It's actually Jedi Fallen Order because it was a single player game that did well, because that was the whole thing about EA is EA was trying to gaslight it.
And while that happened, there was also a multiplayer game that failed horribly.
Right, but I was saying specifically about the Dragon Age Dreadwolf thing is because one, I don't think that's the same team. And two, well, no, they got shuffled around because some of them that were on the original version of Dreadwolf got put on Anthem. And then when Anthem next got canceled, they got put back on Dreadwolf. EA's a stupid-ass company. And it's all because they were trying to get a mainline game to bring in, what is the FIFA gacha game called?
Ultimate Team.
Yeah. Look, as long as you don't call it a gacha and you fill it with men, you make a lot of money off of as long as you got it filled with men, you'll make some money.
Husbando Casinos.
Yeah, that's all it is. There were like every group of people has their own BL, and it was like, yeah, for straight men it's football, aka soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So football, FIFA Ultimate Team, it all lines up.
Mm-hmm. How do you monetize 2K? Make it a gacha, but don't let anybody know it's a gacha.
No,
for 2K, 2K is an MMO.
Make it obvious that you make it a damn casino. They have a fucking wheel spinner thing that you use for shit.
Yep, your daily wheel spin.
Yeah, they got that shit. That's not gacha anymore. That's straight. Well, it's still gacha because it's still gambling. It's fucking. But that's like casino gambling. That's the gambling we know what gambling looks like.
Gotchas are we know what gambling looks like. You are not going to argue with me that seeing somebody fully entrenched or being fully entrenched in a gotcha is not the exact same thing as standing in a casino like spinning a wheel.
As someone who struggles with a mild gambling addiction, it kind of is. Because it hits the exact same way the slot machine does. That's why you see a bunch of live.
That's what I'm saying.
I
don't think anybody is arguing against the gambling here.
No, it's definitely
it's all gambling.
We're all
keep your kids away.
The question is, how much anime tits do you?
A lot.
That's why we need the goddamn gambler class in 14.
Look, I will say this right now. I miss actually having to deal with a little bit of RNG when I was playing Astro. Like pulling out, like needing an extra boost in healing, pulling out the right freaking card to get that 3 spread hit divinity. Woo, that damage boost saved my life.
Yeah. Now, I realize like getting super shields comes from critting with your barriers. I'm like, ooh, if I do that into deployment tactics, I can give everybody the super crit shield. I'm like, that combo is just too nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but it's what is it? The AoE healing buff that Celine has. AoE healing buff into crit shield into deployment tactics. Yeah, because you want that 5% boost to healing effectiveness, which counts effectiveness.
See, I had no idea what you guys were talking about, and you could have been talking about any video game in the history except Jalen said Celine. I was like, oh, it's 14.
Scholar tactics.
We're talking, but the conversation was always about 14.
No, it was about gambling.
And then Madrid said we need the gambler class in 14, and then I was talking about gambling with the healing mechanic.
That makes sense. There we go. Chris and I were lost. Chris,
you don't play healer, brother.
Yeah.
You don't play healer.
Right, yeah. I guess.
All that tanking.
Yep.
This brother be tanking as a dancer.
Yep.
Hey, they didn't pull the other boss. Dancers over here fighting for her life.
That's literally the old Western shooting at your feet. Dance.
But there were 2 more things I wanted to talk about. PSVR 2, because that comes out this week, and the preview embargo is lifted. Well, the review embargo is lifted, and
they even have a teardown on their YouTube channel.
Yeah, I mean, they have a teardown of... I use PlayStation's official videos to do anything with my PlayStation hardware, because their videos are actually, really good. Like, when I need to take off my faceplates off my PS5, I use PlayStation's video. Or when
I love that. I love when a manufacturer will tell you how to get into the internals of your stuff so you can fix your shit.
Yeah, I mean, they have...
I appreciate it. You know,
yeah.
That just needs to be how it is.
Because I used their official video to use very unofficial faceplates, and I used their official video to upgrade my SSD because it was just I don't want to just go into this not knowing what the fuck is going on. So
and probably know at least what the fuck's going on.
I mean, I knew more in general before I got my SSD because I had taken off my faceplates, and I'm like, oh, here's this. And so I knew in general what was going on, but just having that video beforehand as a refresher. But speaking of which, if you got a PS5, take off your faceplates and wipe them down. That's a friendly reminder.
Yeah, I need to do that. Thanks. But I'm actually, with all these games coming out that I want to play in that 2 terabyte,
Oh yeah, I dropped the fat kid deals in next gen. Like
that was sick.
This is why I said when these new consoles 2 years in. This is why when
what
these
gen was
consoles.
that? 4?
Yeah, these are the Gen 4 NVMe SSDs. This is what the prices are looking like now. Like this is really good. And so this is why when this generation started, I'm like, Microsoft and their proprietary thing, yes, it's convenient. Yes, it's plug and play. Yes, it's nice. But I feel like PlayStation solution is better. It's because of prices like this to add this much storage because it's an off-the-shelf part that, like, the price is naturally coming down on as it's aging. And it's still a really good thing. Like the one that I put in the next gen channel in the Discord, 2 terabyte for $179. You are not getting 2 additional terabytes for an Xbox for $179. You're probably not even getting an additional 500 gigs.
I don't know. I don't have
$200. Let's see, 1 terabyte for $200.
I see a Samsung internal 2 terabyte SSD for $169.
Whoa!
For the Xbox or for the PlayStation?
With the Xbox, you could just plug it in.
Yeah, but no, it's not the same. If you're looking at NVMe, that will only work with PlayStation. The Xbox is a proprietary thing that they made with Seagate.
That's
Yeah. Right.
There's no Samsung of that.
Yeah.
And those...
There are people who've like found an adapter, but it's just...
Yeah,
I don't know.
Like the PlayStation's a
it.
more complicated solution in general, but the pricing, this is why I said very early on in the generation.
It's honestly not.
What?
That is honestly like... I think I made this argument when they first were doing this expansion. I said, putting in an SSD NVMe is not a hard thing to do. It's literally the easiest thing you can put in your computer. It's not hard.
I think
it's maybe inconvenient that it takes it's not just plug and play and you're done.
Right.
It takes a little bit of time, but like a sense of accomplishment is kind of nice in life.
So looking at it on Xbox, like, yeah, it's not hard. I've done it. Like, so my PS5 has not heard for storage since my birthday of last year.
Right.
Put it in there and have just been...
Just do it.
Right.
I'm going to upgrade mine. I got a one...
What do I need to plug to hook it up? Like, do I need like a certain
Phillips screwdriver?
Yeah. And then it just like plugs into the slot and you screw it down.
Preferably a smaller one, like this, not like super micro tiny, but like a small.
Don't you have a screwdriver set for your glasses? That would work perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good. Like.
I think I might have something that'll work.
I mean, if you need a small Phillips head screwdriver, just let me know, and I could probably just bring you.
I got the iFixit case. It's pretty good.
Okay, I'll see how long that thing's on sale for, and then go.
I've been monitoring it because I was looking for a 2 terabyte for my computer, and they've kind of been coming down in price consistently, so it shouldn't shoot back up. Like even CPU prices are coming down.
Well, I mean, the last deal that I put was a 2 terabyte for $160. So it's like it went up a little, but I mean, it's still not bad for like the amount of storage you're getting and like the performance of that storage. It's really not bad.
Exactly.
But did I say PSVR 2? Was I talking about PSVR?
Yeah, you said PSVR 2 and reviews were coming in.
PSVR 2 teardown video talking about actually like being able to go into and repair your shit.
So yeah, PSVR 2 is coming out this week, and as probably like the biggest fan of PSVR 1 and VR in general on the podcast.
That last statement, I'm not entirely sure I agree with you. The last part of the statement, just the VR in general part. That's the part I'm...
On the podcast, I'd say, because I've probably spent the most time.
I had a good time with VR, but I think Anton does.
Yeah, I think I've spent the most time in VR out of everybody on the podcast.
Yeah, that is definitely...
I will not argue there.
I'm not going to argue that.
Yeah, PSVR 2 looks really good. Looks like it is the ideal version of this. It's just that price tag. I can't
justify it.
Cannot at all.
At all.
What's the price tag?
$550.
PlayStation 5.
God damn.
$550.
That's more than a PlayStation.
Right.
Right. And considering I'm rocking with a digital PS5 that was $400, like that's $150. Like even if I had the disc, it'd still be more expensive, but it's $150 more expensive than my PS5 that I use every day and have played hundreds of hours of games on.
Heck, they might have figured out the drivers for that too. Put up to your PC too.
Oh, PSVR 2? Yeah, I'm sure, because it's just a USB-C. Like, it's no proprietary...
Right now, without the drivers, it doesn't work. Like, for example, I'm reading a Verge article when they plugged it in to see what they could do with it. And basically, it's basically just treating it as a second 1080p screen. Like, it needs...
Interesting.
Yeah, and I'm sure, but I mean, in the past...
I expect us to get them soon. Like, if Sony realizes, like, because Sony's going to sit down and go, you know what? We could sell this to the PC crowd too, just like we do our games.
Right, and for it being $550, as far as like a PC VR setup, with inside-out tracking, no like lighthouses or sensors or anything needed, if they were to decide to lean into like, hey, plug this into your PC and use it not just for your PlayStation, it'd go crazy.
How much do you think they're going to sell the drivers for?
They're going to come bundled in their shitty fucking Wii Sports for VR thing that they drop.
Yeah.
Their tech demo.
So, yeah, that actually, like, I hadn't thought about its potential, like, as a PC VR headset, but at the price point, like, for PC VR, it's cheaper than the Oculus. It's cheaper than, the
Quest 2 is definitely cheaper than that.
Oh, yeah, the Quest 2 is $350, but the Quest 2 doesn't have a 4K HDR 120 hertz OLED and foveated rendering and eye tracking and... Like, there's a laundry list of stuff that the PSVR 2 does that the Oculus Quest 2 does not do. Even when plugged up to the highest end 4090 Ti rig, like, there's just straight up things that the PSVR 2 headset does for that additional $200 versus the additional $500. Foveated rendering, which is eye tracking. So foveated rendering is it tracks your eyes and sees where you're looking and renders where you're looking in higher resolution than where you're not directly looking. So it's using more of the processing power on like because it knows where your eyes are at all times. Like where your eyes are looking is going to look better because your eyes are looking there. It has eye tracking, so like there are certain games in PSVR 2 now that you look at menu options to select menu options. The screen in it is a OLED 4K HDR 120 hertz screen that the Oculus just does not have that.
That's true. Is it comparable to do the Quest or the Rift for Oculus? I mean, neither of them.
But the Rift is way more expensive.
Comparing it to the Vive, but...
Yeah, it really has more in common with the Valve Index than anything else.
No, actually, I'm comparing it to the Vive Elite, and they are...
And how much is the Vive Elite?
protect basically 2 PlayStation VRs.
Right. So that's where the thing is, like, it's a range of shit.
But also, like, it's a range of shit, and it's designed to work with an already established ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like their best plan of action is disconnecting it from the ecosystem, because, like, if you sell it to PC, you are automatically opening up. That's why their Returnal, Spider-Man, all their games are, like, selling. Like The Last of Us, they had to delay the PC release because they want it to be so good when it hits PC that it's just gonna, it's probably going to come out around the time the show ends, and with the show ending and the show starting, sold several hundred times the amount of copies sold of The Last of Us Part 1. So it coming to PC and the show ending, it's just going to be... It's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, but that's also part of it is the power of recency bias. Like, part of it is, like... And that's why I personally believe that they did the Last of Us remake in the first place. Last of Us remake into the show, and then the show used to show to boost up sales of The Last of Us Part 1 via the inevitable PC port and the PS5. The remake on PS5. And that's why the moment we're going to be about halfway through Season 2 is when we get Last of Us Part 2 on PC.
And PS5. We need Last of Us Part 2 Director's Cut. It still doesn't have a native PlayStation version. Like, I think we're going to get Factions maybe before, because Factions seems like it's closer, and they've talked more about Factions than they've talked about porting The Last of Us Part 2, but they also could just shadow drop The Last of Us Part 2 Director's Cut.
Like, they have enough time, especially if they're already working on it. I feel like they would have enough time to get it done, seeing as the fact that...
Well, they've been working on Factions since before The Last of Us Part 2 initially came out. They were working on Factions before they started working on The Last of Us Part 1. Because they took development of that in-house at Naughty Dog from Visual Arts and Design, which is like a Sony support studio, that they just had working on The Last of Us remake. And then Naughty Dog was like, we're going to do this because this is our game and we want to do it. So, like, that wasn't the mandate from the top down at PlayStation was, we need to make a Last of Us remake, but they were just going to have some support team do it. It was Naughty Dog's decision to be like, well, I mean, we kind of did this with The Last of Us Remastered on PS4 to learn PS4 tech before we made Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. So we might as well do it with PS5 while we're making Factions for PS5 and whatever their next game is, whether it's the Uncharted they've hinted at. Because they've hinted at Uncharted 5 in those live from PlayStation commercials. Like, they have these TV spots where it's like news reports about PlayStation stuff, and one of the things is it could be Tomb Raider or it could be the next Uncharted, but considering like all the other games that they showed were either first party or exclusives, odds are they're teasing the next Uncharted. So if that's the next thing, well, also, Naughty Dog has said that they're not making the next Uncharted, so it wouldn't even... Whatever the next Naughty Dog game is on PS5, that'll be the one.
They weren't making another Uncharted, because it was like, wasn't the big thing about Uncharted 4 that it was the last one?
But then Naughty Dog made The Lost Legacy after that. Yes. The Lost Legacy is probably the best Uncharted game. The more that I've played of that, and as a huge Uncharted 2 and 3 fan,
say, like, wasn't those two? Anytime those two go on a romp, it's better than a Nathan Drake game. Like,
right? Chloe would as a fan of Chloe from Uncharted 2, like having Chloe in the Lost Legacy. So, but they made that after Uncharted 4, and they started it as DLC, yes, but then spun it out into a full game, and that full game might just be the best one of those games. So...
I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also like, once again, the big thing about Uncharted 4 was that it was the last one.
It was the last one for Nathan Drake.
There it is.
A thief's end.
Yeah.
They were all thieves.
Right.
They were all, everybody.
But he's white.
All of them are thieves.
He's also an appropriator. I don't know.
I'm. We don't need to go on this tirade about
civilization and not destroy it. Yeah,
right.
that's.
We
yeah.
don't. We could get into a whole thing about the British Museum, but we're not. We're not going to talk about that statues
that's one of the biggest stolen jewels on Earth.
Yeah. But we could get into that, but we won't. Actually, does anybody have one more thing they want to talk about before we wrap? Because
no, that's it for me.
All right. Well, remember you can follow us all collectively around the internet, cheesycontrollerpodcast.com. Until next time, you can find me on Table Cheese under the FTO podcast feed. You can find me on Twitter at Anton6. Chris, where can people find you?
You can follow me at Chef and Chris.
Jalen.
Wait, Bishop.
Madrid.
Speedwagon X.
All right, this has been a Know It's Good production. The video version is edited by Long Twisted Mind. The audio version is being edited by Akumasanti. Until next time, keep it cheesy.